So welcome back to my channel, reporting on these two Conservative by-election losses. No, that's not why I've been lacrimating. Another reason. Anyway, so yesterday it was Thursday, and since 1918, elections in the United Kingdom are always and only ever held on a Thursday. So as I forecast, Wakefield voted to Labour, which held it from 1932 until 2019. So no surprises there, especially as the previous Conservative MP Imran Ahmed has gone to prison for a sexual offence involving a 15-year-old boy, which is not a good starting point for the new Conservative candidate. Anyway, so Sir Keir Starmer has hailed this as an enormous swing towards Labour. And Wakefield, I mean, it's a good result for Labour, but it's not very surprising. So I think one swallow does not a summer make for them. He claims the Conservative Unionist Party is imploding. Although it is bad news for the Tories, it's not as dreadful as Starmer would have us believe. Anyway, it might redouble the Conservative election, decide to have an election before this gets any worse, to have one later this year, because they think, yeah, situation's tough now. In 2023, it's going to be horrific for the Conservatives. Remember that Labour needs to win 123 additional seats in order to secure a majority in the forthcoming Westminster election. They won a swing of 12.7% in Wakefield, which was much more than they needed to actually to take that particular seat. So that's quite good news. They need a swing of 10.5% to win overall. And the only time there's been a swing of 10% more was for Blair in 1997 when Labour took that, which is actually considerably more than they needed to win. And over they could have won with a 5% swing, would have won a majority of one. Obviously, Blair had a very healthy majority. But remember, Labour obviously needs to retake seats from the Conservatives, occasionally from the SNP. All right, might be good to take a few from the Lib Dems, but the Lib Dems only hold like 14 seats now. Anyway, so remember, if you do get a swing of 10.5%, it's not completely uniform. In some seats, you'll get a swing of 3%. In other seats, you get a swing of 20%. Anyway, so the Wakefield by-election is looking really good for them. But as I say, there's some unique local circumstances, which mean you cannot extrapolate that across the UK. So the new Labour MP there, Simon Lightwood, has said it's all about Boris Johnson, and Labour's trying to hammer home that message, not let Party Kate die a death. So unsurprisingly, Starmer's elated. I mean, he's probably not as overjoyed as you have us believe, because yeah, it's a creditable result. But the broader data is all right for Labour, but it's not fantastic. And there were, up until now, there were serious questions about his leadership. So this has probably kept him safe for a while. Some Conservatives were worried that Wes Streeting would come in, that he would be a more effectual Labour leader. There was talk of Lisa Nandy taking over as Labour leader. Remember, she was the runner-up in the leadership contest, and Labour's the only UK party never to be led by a woman. You know, UKIP, Sinn Féin, the SNP, the Liberal Democrats, the Conservative Party, who else? The Greens. So they've all been led by women. Plaid Cymru. Anyway, so some of the Conservatives were against Boris Johnson and said, yeah, this is a damning indictment of Johnson, and Johnson has resigned. So Roger Gale said that. Anyway, so we have to look onto the Tiverton and Honiton by-election, which is in southwest England, where Richard Ford is now the Liberal Democrat MP. And I'm not sure that the Lib Dems have ever held this. This was a safe Conservative seat. So this loss is a lot more worrying for the Conservative and Unionist Party. So the Labour fielded a candidate in Tiverton and Honiton. He was a paper candidate, made no effort. Likewise in Wakefield. Yes, the Lib Dems forwarded a candidate, but he made virtually no effort. Okay, so there seems to have been some sort of tacit agreement just not to campaign in the other one. Give Labour a clear run in Wakefield, give the Lib Dems a clear run in Tiverton and Honiton. The thing is, actually, Labour polled more votes than the Lib Dems in 2019 in Tiverton and Honiton by a fraction. So, okay, Wakefield was always going to go back to Labour. If not, if there was no by-election, maybe the next general election. Tiverton and Honiton, the Conservatives really thought they could keep that one for decades. So that is a lot more worrying from a Conservative perspective. As I say, I thought the Conservatives would narrowly cling on to Tiverton and Honiton. Well, shows what I know. Anyway, Oliver Dowden, he's the chairman of the Conservative Party, says, well, someone has to accept responsibility for this. Wouldn't it be him? Is he trying to pass up the chain of command to Boris Johnson? it would seem like not. Anyway, so there's more discontent in the 1922 committee. So anyway, Tiverton and Honiton, it's a bucolic constituency, and the Tories had won it by 24,000 votes last time. So it's only was created as a constituency in 1997, but that area had been considered for a very long time, like throughout the 20th century. So there was a swing of 30% to the Liberal Democrats. Now, although the Lib Dems sometimes take these scalps, they very seldom retain them in the forthcoming Westminster election. So not only did the Lib Dems won it, they won it by 6,000 votes. They got 53% of the vote, an absolute majority, which is very, very rare. So it really is an atrocious defeat for the Conservatives. Now, the previous Conservative parliamentarian sitting in that constituency, Neil Parish, he tendered his resignation because he acknowledged that he'd watched pornography in the House of Commons. It might even be in the House of Commons chamber, where people looking at their phone. Now, I mean, an unwise thing to do at work, but on the other hand, I think no harm done. Can we let it drift? Shouldn't be the end of his career, having done something foolish. So yeah, Wakefield's the red wall seat. That was probably going to go back to Labour, especially after Imran Ahmad Khan was incarcerated. But this Tiverton and Honiton one is more of a bellwether for the Conservatives. I mean, that should be an easy win. That should be solidly Conservative. Is it just a protest vote? It might well revert to the Conservative Unionist Party at the forthcoming Westminster election. So anyway, so Oliver Dowden, he has resigned since, because there's this double defeat. Because if it wasn't him, it would have to be someone like Boris Johnson. So Boris Johnson's put out a communique saying he realises that people are very let down by this, and our Conservative members are worried about it. So yeah, that Oliver Dowden had to carry the can for this one, or Bojo will never take responsibility. He's an utterly irresponsible person. So the Tory party says it's going to listen to voters. Well, resign then, Bojo? No, I don't think it's going to. Bizarrely, Boris Johnson's actually higher rated than Keir Starmer as a prime minister in the opinion polls, which I think is astonishing. I mean, policies aside, I respect Keir Starmer. I think he's a man of probity. I don't think he's ever told a lie. He's serious-minded. He's in politics for the right reasons. He's not a glamour boy. He's not a showman. He's actually trying to help people. As he perceives that he's doing good. Well, Bojo, these considerations just don't even come into it. Anyway, so the Prime Minister did not campaign in by-elections as a convention that they don't. Blair broke that convention. Currently, Johnson's in Rwanda for the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, where there could be an awkward conversation about deporting asylum seekers to Rwanda. And incidentally, if they're sent there by the UK government, if their claims are accepted, they're going to stay in Rwanda long term, which actually goes down well with some of those working class voters who are Labour inclined, that the Conservatives won over last time. And this is clear blue water. On that policy, the Conservatives are going somewhere that the other parties are unwilling to follow. Okay, thank you so much. The Lib Dems got their first seat back in South West England. It used to be quite a strong region for them because they lost them all in 2019. Thanks for watching. Bye. How do I hang up? Stop the video.